But this particular film made me analyze and study it. So after I watched it as an audience for the first time at a very young age, the second, third and fourth times were all studying the film. I automatically started, it was like a book for me, it was like a theory class for me. I started studying the book, the film. There cannot be a story without love as far as I'm concerned, because I've been influenced a lot by love, by the women in my life, by my first love, and then who I finally ended up marrying after a few years. It was a friendship that turned into love. There were a couple of odd camera angles in the Tudu Varuma song in Kaka Kaka, which was done in discussion with the choreographer, who's a woman, Brinda, and Ramya Krishnan, who's the woman artist. And we spoke and we discussed, and there was a lot of raunchy steps and some very odd camera placements. I met Surya even during Minnale times, and I narrated Minnale to him. But he didn't, his father listened to the script and he said, this is not going to work for Surya, he said.
I see.
So then I took it to Maddie after a point. Jyotika suggested, why don't you look at Surya now? So the Surya that I had seen before that was not so impressive on screen, honestly, and I can say this openly.
Hi friends, we would like you to subscribe and also press the bell icon so that you will get the notifications from YouTube.
Hello viewers, welcome back to Fountainhead Veda channel. Today, I can't say I'm bringing a surprise to you, all of you. We have a celebrity with us who has been sought after by the filmdom or the entertainment industry's favorite, Gautam Menon. Gautam Vasudeva Menon he's called as. And he's a good friend of mine, and we thought in the series of excellence and attitude towards developing a personality, why not I start with Gautam Menon too. So it's a great pleasure for me welcoming Gautam Menon today. Thank you, Gautam, for joining us.
No worries, sir.
So very quickly, a small brief about our channel, why it was started, and the objective of this channel is to bring out the best qualities of successful people, or success is not a great word, I would say excellence. One who has success gets into ambitions and all this and behavioral science. They say excellence is much better than the ambition. The ambition brings in avariciousness and all that, so the quality of the personality comes down, and the levels one who tries to reach. Excellence is a word, right word, then ambitious personality. So in that context, we were looking at great personalities, mother gurus, those who have done very well in the entertainment industry or variety of industries, as well as people who have excelled. So our channels, if you say Fountainhead Veda, Veda does not relate to Vedas at all. What we meant was verify, explore, experience, attitude, develop and attitude. So this were basically an idea of looking at people, how well they have explored their life, experienced their life, what qualities, what kind of attitude made them to these levels today. So these are the thing. Of course, when an entertainer like you or a creative personality like you, we should also get into how you came about all this, how did you achieve all this. Was it an achievement or is it within you? And we had a very interesting chat with Mr. Tyagarajan, who has built an organization from South India. It's now one of the largest financial service institutions. He says it's all in genes. I mean, he continues to say, I try to explain him by one can gain by experience, learn from others. He says everything is finally at the end of the day genes. These are all the trigger points which comes. So the trigger points will keep triggering personalities into greatness. So we'll discuss about what kind of, you have a special genes for being creative, or how did it all happen. So over to you, Gautam. I wanted we have enough information about you in Wikipedia. Somebody goes into Wikipedia, they'll find out what made you to come into this field, or you are an engineering graduate. And I see there, it seems that you chose from engineering into this creative side of it, and you went for, I think you worked under Rajiv Menon and all that I've read there. So I would leave it to you. You got the synopsis or the background of what is about this interview and all. So I want to know from you what made you to get into this field first. Then we will get into various aspects of life. Yeah.
Firstly, talking to you before we started rolling, you have a very prolific list of people who've sat probably here before me, so I'm happy to be here. That much I can tell you. And it's nice you're doing this. In the sense, I know of you as a completely different person, and it's nice to see you actually taking space in front of the camera. So maybe it just gives me an idea that I should cast you also.
Thanks.
You don't seem to be somebody like that, but it's nice to see this side of you. Very interesting that you said Mr. Tyagarajan mentioned genes, because I've always thought of it as, is that possible or is that true? Because if I were to look back at dad and mom and probably a generation before them and all that, yes, they were creative. If my sensibilities are right, then I must say that they were creative. There was a lot of interest in films. But as audience, they'd watch films, they would listen to a lot of songs, a lot of music playing always at home.
Yeah.
So my initial foray into music and liking music was all because of the music that played at home.
Yeah, absolutely. It's same here for me. Yeah.
So they would talk about the artists, they would talk about the singers, the lyricists. In fact, my mom, if she listens to a song, she will tell me who the singer is.
I see.
In Tamil and in Hindi. Like she can make out the difference between a T.M. Soundarajan's voice, an A.M. Raja's voice, a Jikki's voice, a P. Sushila's voice, Janaki. So she'll be able to tell you who the singer is, who wrote the lyrics in the padam, in the song, the padathil eppadi irundhathu. So a lot of talking would happen about, as general audience, Oliyum Oliyum would play on TV, some movies would play. My dad would pick a few films for me to watch.
I see.
Without any clue that I wanted to be a filmmaker. He would just say, if you're sitting down to watch TV, watch this film. Or watch that film, So, and I knew he was very creative as far as writing was concerned, because he used to write these small, sentences or maybe one-pagers and leave it here and there for us to read. In fact, after he passed away, a lot of his writings, just general writings, we've looked at and laughed and smiled at and all that stuff. So I would like to attribute it to genes, but I can also tell you that there's nobody in the film industry from my side of the family.
I know.
Nobody's taken a step into making films or writing for films or even writing for books or anything like that. So it was purely a film that I saw when I was probably 16 or 15.
I see.
A Mani Ratnam film called Nayagan, which
I have gone through the Wikipedia.
which sort of opened up an imagery in my head. It opened up the thought that why is the camera moving in this particular scene like this? Or why is it such a lengthy shot? Why are there cuts here? Why is the actor performed like this? It started questioning me. I started having these questions in my head.
How did you get that, interest in that?
I have no idea. It's just that I've seen a few films before that. We've been to theatres and we watched films, and films have interested me, and I like the songs, I like the visual imagery. But this particular film made me analyze and study it. So after I watched it as an audience for the first time at a very young age, the second, third and fourth times were all studying the film. I automatically started, it was like a book for me. And I remember it took away the joy of actually enjoying the film, because I started analyzing the film, and I was very keen to go to his place and work with him after that. Even though the initial line of thought was engineering after school, my mother suggested that engineering Pandada, avladhan she said. So then I went into an engineering college, but right through engineering, I used to write short stories, and I used to look at films. Film appreciation happened, talking to a lot of boys from down south. A lot of knowledge about films came up. And then I finished college. I told my mother and father that I'm not interested in this line at all, and this is what I want to do. They were very supportive. They didn't look at if that's what you want to do, fine. But are you sure how to go about it? And I went about it. That's all. I started meeting people, trying to figure out. I went to Mani sir's office for almost like every day for almost a year. And then I tried to meet Bharati Raja and a few other filmmakers, including Mr. Kamal Haasan and all that. And finally, at some point I met Mr. Rajiv Menon also, and he said, come join me and start working as an assistant director. So that sort of gave me an entry into, production, watching a film unfold. And that film was a huge film in the sense, Minsara Kanavu was like a 1 year production, big actors, musical, Rahman sir and all that. So that taught me about how a film is produced, how a film is made, and how actors are told on sets what to do and how they contribute to, a scene or a dialogue and all that stuff. So that sort of made it possible for me to meet more people, and then from there on, there was no looking back. So this is the initial, foray into doing what I wanted to do, and I'm lucky that it's what I wanted to do, and I ended up doing that, you know. And
I think you are blessed to that extent.
yeah,
no?
and I won't say ended up still doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
In a good way or bad way, I don't know, but I'm still plodding on.
We will come to
Yeah,
that and
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Great. So, I mean, I'm going to travel more towards the behavioral science and as well as your content or your job or whatever you are doing. I wanted to compare with that. See, basically, we look at the personality. Why he is successful? We arrive at something like a simple three items. One is enthusiasm, endurance, and skill. So, the enthusiasm, endurance, skill in the mono irundada, one can sustain. If even little enthusiasm goes down, it's gone. But in your career, I think, how did you maintain these three continuous basis without, I mean, I'm sure you must have had at least 3 or 4 rounds of disappointment, success, disappointment, fall and up and all that. So, where did you get these three? I see you as a person who is always, I mean, probably over half an hour, 1 hour down or being otherwise the enthusiasm comes back to you. That is where also I wanted to know, how did this come about, this continuous enthusiasm?
Very true, sir. In whatever small interactions we've had, I think you've studied me really well in that sense. It's just that half an hour, 45 minutes that I think everybody goes through.
Yeah, all of us. But people stay for 1 day, 1 maasam, 1 year lang poichu thiringi varum. Kadele varudhu illaya.
Correct.
Somebody goes through depression like Surya goes through for a year and comes back.
Correct.
But in your thing, I'm seeing it as these are the qualities which, I mean, creates a leadership. So, was it something you imbibed somebody, or how did you manage to get this?
Yeah, I think the enthusiasm hasn't waned, and it won't also, I think, sir, because there's constantly a thought in my head, there's constantly a buzz. I wake up in the morning and I try and spend about 1 hour writing or even just reading material, which will help me, get through the day. For the past 4-5 years, I've been physically working out. So that sort of sets me up completely.
Right.
So there is a zest sort of thing to sort of seize the day. And I know if I miss that Monday, then the whole week feels a little, low for me. So I make sure on Monday I do that couple of hours of, training, and that helps me sort of physically also. That's very important, right? So I read a lot. I watch a lot of films. I watch a lot of content. I come back home, I spend some time with the family and all that, and I have my 1 hour where I just sit in front of any viewing format, and I watch some stuff that is from the rest of the world, which helps me understand what people are trying to do, how a film is still made. I study the film, to a large extent, and I'm a huge audience. I go to the theatre and watch films. Obviously, for the past 1 year, that's not a possibility, but even when Master released, I realized that I should go to the theatre and watch the film, so I do that. I think this was imbibed largely at home for me, where we were like, I think all of us, when we started off, we were all from a very lower middle class sort of economic background, I'm saying. But the class and space that we were in were always very high. My father used to, talk about the stars in the skies. Although he couldn't afford, anything, but somewhere I knew he was plodding on, in a very, and I've never seen him, sort of depressed or upset. Of course, he had his means. He used to smoke and he used to have his drink, but he used to enjoy all this, and I don't even do all that. But I knew that he kept plodding on, and there was this, and my mom was always working. She still is. There's no need for her to, but she still is, because all 3 words that you mentioned, enthusiasm, endurance and the skill is still there. At 70 plus, she still goes to school, and she teaches economics and commerce, and she comes back home, and I know a lot of students come wherever she is, they meet her, and they tell her that, we studied under you and all that. So I can see that one constant zest is there even in her, so I think it is imbibed from both of them to a large extent. While I was struggling in that sense to make a film and working as assistant director, I didn't have to support the family because my sister took over. She's 1 year younger than me, and she was very good at whatever she did, and she worked for a big company here, and then she went to Microsoft. So she was supporting the family, so she took the pressure off me. So people around me were like that, and largely driven by women also in that sense, which is why, if you notice in my films, there is a special
woman-centric, something like performing.
Correct.
Woman.
There's a lot of respect that goes out towards them. So growing up with my 2 sisters, listening to them talk about life, about boys, about women and all that, a lot was inculcated in me, I think, at that stage itself. Other than that, sir, you know the issues that are going on in my life, whatever financial issues, because of
Yeah,
which...
I'm going to come to...
Yeah, no, because of which films, but I always look at it as I don't even look at it as a passing phase. If you're out there, then this is bound to happen. There is bound to be, the metaphoric stones and brickbats that come your way. You have to either duck and keep moving on. And I've learned that right from my first film. I've always worked with producers who always put me out there and said, we're gauging you. This much is given to you, let's see now what you do with it. And 80% of the time I've come out trumps. About 20% of the time I've faltered, but it's only helped me pick it up and take it forward. And talking to people like Mani sir has really helped, because I keep saying this, and I'm not just quoting his name because I want to be quoting his name, but I have great regard and respect for his words and what he's taught me without actually me being a student, you know. And interactions also, he's told me, you've written a script, or your writing is based only on what you want to do and it's not discussed with 15-20 people, and you made the film. Now, how that film is done is not your problem at all. You have to move on from there to the next content. And that's what I've been doing over the past 10 years at least, and it's been okay. It's about 50-50 if you ask me, but I am still
So I have one small segment in our interview, it's called Perception and Reality. I'm going to come to that. What people perceive you, and what is the reality is.
Yeah, sure.
What you want people to perceive you, what is the reality also. Something like, a small exercise I have.
Sure, sir.
So before that, I wanted to know, how did you, you are called a romantic, action, thriller, all this combination comes into your movies. Is it like, did you develop, that is a knot is required, and you have been doing it 2 decades, I think. You started off in 2001, you are still going on, and probably 10 more years may excel, or more, whatever number of years it takes you. So how does this particular, I think even I love romance, and whatever the age is, I think the age does not factor. So how did you pick up these lines of your movie? In the sense, there will be அந்தந்த காலகட்டத்துக்கு இருக்க romance இருக்கும், ஒரு action இருக்கும், thriller இருக்கும், then there is a good storytelling will be there. So is it a formula you made, or it keeps generating by yourself?
So I like the human element, human emotions ideas, sir. And I try and make it as real as possible. In my films, you will not see people, somersaulting and flying. Even if it's an action sequence, I'd like it to be as real and as raw as like how 2 people in a brawl or a fight, would take place. Yes, if it's a cop and a gangster, you push the boundary a little bit, but you still keep it within that real space. There cannot be a story without love, as far as I'm concerned, because I've been influenced a lot by love, by the women in my life, by my first love, and then who I finally ended up marrying after a few years. It was a friendship that turned into love. So I've seen the facets. I've seen what it does to me. I've experienced it firsthand, and I thought this is the experience that a certain section of the audience also would love to, go through. And when they realize that it's happened in their life, when they're able to figure out that this is my story, I think it works better. There is an argument that people would like to come to the theaters and watch films that doesn't have anything to do with their lives, and because they're going through the mundane of everyday life, why not show me something which I have not gone through? But I cater to the idea that people would like to see what they're going through also. If love has blossomed, and if it's touched you a certain way, if a woman has done something to you, something to your heart, something to your mind, something to your soul, and if I'm reproducing that, then you want to go into that feeling again. And then with some good music and good visuals and 2 good people on screen, people just take that home. It's like bread and butter. There's no way they'll think twice about it. So I've been influenced by that. Like I told you, I've been influenced by the women in my life. It starts at home with my mother, the way she wears her clothes, her teaching, in the things she says. My father and mother's own romance and love story. There was a constant physical thing between the 2 of them, which, we were all, it was not that we were privy to that, but there was a subtle touch always that I could always notice, like when he would sit with her, his hand would be always on her feet. He would always sit 1 step lower, and his hand would be always on her feet, and that somewhere was heartwarming for me, which is why in every film of mine you will see that motive. A woman's feet is always shown as something that has to be touched and respected and loved. And then the conversations that a woman gets into is the conversations that happen at my house. Like a lot of people would tell me that the way Jyotika speaks is actually how like my wife speaks. And and whatever I make also has to first past my house, you know, like my mother will ask me, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Like I've said this before, you might have heard this. There were a couple of odd camera angles in the Tudu Varuma song in Kaka Kaka, which was done in discussion with the choreographer who's a woman, Brinda, and Ramya Krishnan, who's the woman artist. And we spoke and we discussed, and there was a lot of raunchy steps and some very odd camera placements, which was done. It was not like we cheated and we didn't tell her. She was okay with it. The woman, the female choreographer also was okay with it. But my mother asked me, "Eppadi nee camera veche? Romba thappa irundhathu. Why do you do that?" And that rankled me, you know. And since then, whenever I cross the line with something that I'm making, I always think my mother will ask me this question, so let me retract.
Okay.
You know, so I've been influenced in a large way by the people at home and the class that they have sort of, class and form that they've imbibed in me, I think, to a large extent. And the books that I read, like if I were to pick up a book, I would pick up a book like Thousand Splendid Suns or The Kite Runner. And on the other hand, I would pick up, you know, an action crime thriller or police procedural or something like that. So this is in me. So these are the genres that I'd like to, you know, experiment or play with when I make my film. And if in one film I can give you all that, then that's like, you know, chicken curry. So then there's no way I'd think twice about it. Yeah.
So on the other very interesting is most of the films, I think, back the Best Music Awards, the albums were great.
Yeah.
Or continue to be
Yeah.
great. So how do you get that? Is it a? I'm sure it's a teamwork with the music director. You
Yeah.
sit down and probably the lyrics writer and all that. But you bring out the. I think that's again because from the family you said the music is in your.
Yeah, there's music always playing at home, but even otherwise, sir, these songs are all written in the script.
I see.
Yeah, there is
I
never a
didn't know that.
song which I've written in any of my films saying love song and I've moved to the next scene.
I see.
I will say why that song needs to be there, why the scene is told musically, and what the lyrics are is already written in English in the first draft itself. This is what is given to the music director, be it Raja sir, Rahman sir, or Harris, or Karthik, or Darbuka Shiva. There's a lot of discussion that goes into why this song needs to be there, or what the music is going to be like. But beyond that, I will not go and tell them, I want this genre, I want this ragam. I will not do that because with every technician of mine, that's how I work. Like even this setup now, if this is the scene, this is the shot that the DOP or the cameraman here has set up for me, and this goes with my mood, I will just come and try and fit the actors within this.
Okay.
I will not tell him to do his job by saying add some more light here or give me some more fill here, because I know that's why I vibed with him and I brought him on board. I've never done that. So there is a lot of, I don't want to use the word freedom in the wrong sense, but there's a lot of freedom in that sense given to them to bring their own.
That's the best,
and
yeah.
I wait for that vibe, I wait for that wavelength. And you won't believe this, sir, and I've said this before also, all the tunes so far that have been made into songs are all the first tunes that have come from these music directors.
I see.
And I know they have asked me, now, I think there's something, where or space, I said, no, sir, it struck me. It's hit me. Let me take this forward. I'll make the lyrics work for this and I'll come back to you with the recording, you know. So I've been lucky to be in that space, to have worked with like-minded people. Even if it's a new music director, I find the vibe with that person. Even if it's a new person I'm working with, I try and find that vibe. In many cases, or maybe in some cases, that vibe will not happen. And at the end of a year or two, that relationship goes, asunder. Which I'm ready for because that's way of life, I think. So I look for that wavelength. I look for that vibe.
Fantastic. Now, what is the kind of role, similarly to the technician, these your assistants or assistant directors or your script writers or somebody like that? How do you yourself write the theme first or the storyline first, or you collaborate and get your storylines, and how?
So it's not in an egoistic sort of a way, sir. But Tamil cinema generally works where the director is the writer, producer, director, everything.
I see.
Kadai, Thirekadai, Vasanam, Iyakamnu போட்டாதான் அது ஒரு திருப்தி அப்படின்னு நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க. But for me, it's not the ego thing of putting all 4 credits out there. Somehow, I've always looked to collaborate. So from Minnale, I brought a writer on board to help me take that script forward.
Right.
Kaka Kaka was written when I was in college.
I see.
Yeah. So, but when I wanted to make into a screenplay, I went to a few people like Anurag Kashyap. I met a few writers in Bombay. I've met Pattukoti Prabhakaran here. I tried to meet Balakumaran and people like that. But somehow.
Did you do anything with Balakumaran? No.
No, sir. Nothing at all. So sensibilities didn't work. In a sense, I wanted a film based on an idea, but they were trying to take it away into completely different zones.
I see.
And I was not ready to get into that zone. Their sensibilities were perfect, but I was not ready to get into a completely new zone that they were waiting for me to get into. I wanted them to come into my zone and make a script out of that. So I would end up writing my own scripts in that sense. Yeah. So from then on, I've tried to, but it's never worked out. So I've come back and written my own scripts. Once I write it, I give it out to the assistant director team, and they read it and they'll give me some suggestions, or they, in the sense they will say, "Sir, this idu puriyala, idu konjam defined irukalama," and stuff like that. But there is never a group discussion based on which the script is taken forward. That's never happened so far. But I'm also the other guy, or one of the few directors who's always looked to collaborate. Queen was a collaboration which Reshma Gatala completely wrote. I loved the content and I got in and directed it.
I think that was one of the few.
One of the few.
Only direction and
only I just came in to direct it, and I loved that space.
I see.
Likewise, we did an Amazon short film with MS Bhaskar and Ritu, which PC sir shot for me. That is also written by Reshma. Now I'm collaborating with writers like Jay Mohan. I've been sitting and interacting with him, and I'm hoping that he will take me into his zone, like which is direct a script. You know, so I'm open to collaboration. In that sense,
Okay. Now coming back to the you said technicians, about the actors, and definitely you have. I cannot say you gave a fantastic break to Surya, but I think it's a mutual. I think so. It started off. The Kaka Kaka was the Surya's first film with you, or what is it?
Yes, it was.
Kaka
Yes.
Kaka. From there, what do you think? What in these three words of enthusiasm, endurance, and skill? How do you rate Surya in this?
So I met Surya even during Minnale times, and I narrated Minnale to him. But he didn't. His father listened to the script, and he said, "This is not going to work for Surya." He said.
I see.
So then I took it to Maddie after a point. But by the time I had come to Kaka Kaka, and Surya was recommended by Jyotika, actually I had signed Jyotika for the film.
I see.
She was supposed to produce the film. She set up a couple of producers, and then we took it to ABM and a lot of other producers, and it was her team that set me up with Mr. Danu, who decided he will produce the film, and we'll do it on a first copy sort of a deal. And Jyotika suggested, why don't you look at Surya now? So the Surya that I had seen before that was not so impressive on screen, honestly, and I can say this openly. But the Surya that I met during Kaka Kaka, just after a film called Nanda, was somebody who had crossed these three, zones. Was clearly endurance, clearly,
continuously upgrading his skills.
Yeah,
I think so.
and he keeps doing that.
Yeah.
He keeps doing that. I've seen that in artists like Samantha also, who when they came in on their first film were very raw and had no idea. But from the second film and third film, the kind of work that they put into, the kind of homework they do. By the time she came to me for Nidani and Ponvasanam, she was like a rock solid actress. There was nothing that we needed to explain to her too much. She would take the scene and then give me something which was completely something that I wouldn't have been able to write also. You just needed a camera to grab that. Surya was like that on Kaka Kaka.
I see.
There was a lot of discussion whether Ninga Ordara Panni coming here, and then he would take from that. So there was a lot of my body language that he imbibed.
I see.
And there was a lot of his own that he brought into it. So it was a nice combination that he actually devised, for that film. And we completely loved it and went with whatever he was trying to do for us, By the time he came to Varnamayiram, he was already in that big league and of big league of actors also. There was nothing in Varnamayiram that we were even discussing about, It was just reading the scene. Okay, na ibdi pandra. He is the one who said, I will act as a father also.
I see.
Yeah, and he went and did that, whole look and everything. So I just had to be ready with a camera and a team to grab, his performance. So,
whatever I read in this, it seems that Madhavan wanted you to narrate the story to Mani, then only you'll act.
And maybe Mani sir didn't understand what that film was all about, I think. So, I still curse Maddie for that.
Okay. Ajit and Surya, you are seemingly a favorite. Then Simbu, of course.
Yeah.
These are the three guys. So, Ajit, how do you...
He supported the entry of Arun Vijay into that film,
I think that's a turning
in such
point
a
for
big
the
level,
guy.
So, he is a completely grounded person. See, somebody who is not insecure only will do something
That's what,
like that.
why I brought that is, meaning
Exactly.
Hi friends, we would like you to subscribe and also press the bell icon so that you will get the notifications from YouTube.